We've got some great questions today. The main one is on disgusting foods of the 18th century. Thanks for joining us today on Questions and Answers with James Townsend and Son. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and a holiday season. We still got a little bit of that left, but thank you for all your wonderful wishes for that. Here is the first question today. This one was from Monday's video, the peas pudding. I have an old 600 thread count bed sheet. I think that will work good. Any thoughts? So obviously he's talking about using this sheet for a pudding bag. Yes, muslin, a 600 count muslin is very fine. That should work for a pudding bag very, very well. Here is a question from the Switchel video that we did several years ago. It says, my wife and I just love your videos. You mentioned using honey in the Switchel recipe, but for sweetening in other recipes you mentioned sugar or molasses much more often. Was honey not used quite as much in the 18th century? On a related topic, I wonder why we don't hear more about mead, honey wine, or beer from this period. I have found mead much easier to make than beer. Honey is definitely used in this time period, and in fact, mead was a very popular drink in the 18th century. It was more popular in the 16th and 17th century, but still, it's a popular thing. You see mead recipes in the cookbooks very, very often, and mead-related topics. So honey isn't something that is disappearing in the 18th century. It's just not typically used in the cookbooks, or specifically as a sweetener. Probably because molasses and sugar was much less expensive. So they wouldn't use honey unless they were trying to actually get a honey flavor. So you'll find honey being used in mead recipes, and you'll find honey being used in specific recipes where they're looking for that honey flavor, something like the little honey cakes that we've done in the past before. But obviously, in this circumstance, since honey was more expensive, they're going to be using sugar as a typical sweetener. That's probably why you're not seeing it as much in the cookbooks. Here's an interesting one. It says, occasionally I get coal and ash in my stew. When I lift the lid, I think it adds some flavor. What do you think? Well, I think that food cooked over an open fire. In this case, he was commenting on the roast beef episode that you do it in the Dutch oven. And it seems that anytime we cook items out in the kitchen or over an open fire, you really get a different flavor. That smoke comes in there, and it definitely enhances and changes the flavors. Sometimes for the better, sometimes it might make things seem like they all taste the same. And I think that's one of the reasons why you see different kinds of flavorings going on in 18th century cooking when they're trying to bring out some of these other flavors that might be overcome by the smoke or other flavors that get into your food. Specifically, I think it's one of the reasons why you see orange flower water and rose water used in some recipes. I think some of that is to counteract that smoky flavor. And here's the main question today. It's from Joey the Priuses. He says, are there any really disgusting things that you've seen in the 18th century cookbooks that you'll never try in a video? Well, I don't know if I'm going to say never, but let's just say the reason why we haven't done these things earlier is because they don't sound very appetizing. Okay, so here are some really good ones. To hash a calf's head, or to cook a calf's head in imitation of turtle soup. That seems to be a common one. Somehow I can't get over that idea. It doesn't sound too good to me. Several recipes for cow udder. That's not something that we eat typically today, at least in this area. To make a ragu of pig's ears. Again, not so good. Now this one, some people are going to say this is probably great. Roasted eel. We can't even get eel around here, but somehow roasted eel sounds distasteful. A fricassee of ox palates. Many different parts of the animal are used in 18th century cooking that we just don't even hear of today. We can't even find ox palates, but still doesn't sound great. Here's one that doesn't sound disgusting, but most people wouldn't cook it this way. To roast lobsters. They tied lobsters to a rotisserie spit, and they would roast them over the fire. Sounds interesting. How to recover venison when it stinks. There are many recipes that you'll find that you'll run into in the cookbooks about recovering foods that have gone off. Sometimes, like how to recover your stinking beer, something that's gone bad. We would just throw it out. There's a recipe for skewits, and it starts with cutting veal sweetbreads into pieces. You don't even want to know about sweetbreads. And something you'll find referenced many times in the cookbooks, coxcombs, where they actually cooked with the comb of a chicken. You'll find lots of recipes for small birds. They cooked every kind of bird possible. If you could catch it, they cooked it. We wouldn't do that today. Here's a good one right out of the cookbooks. I'll read it to you. Stitch water. Take a gallon of new alewort and put to it as much stone horse dung as will make it pretty thick. Add to this a pound of London treacle, 2 pennies worth of ginger sliced, 6 pennies worth of saffron. Mix these together and distill off in a cold still. Take 3 or 4 spoonfuls at a time. I'm not sure what they mean by stone horse dung, but I don't think I want to know. Now, the recipes for food are bad enough. If you really want to get into kind of the disgusting ones, you go and you look in the medical books. And I'm thinking stitch water, even though it's in with the other kind of foods, drinks, I think it's obviously medicine by the way they talk about how much to take. Here's another one. Sounds great, doesn't it? Hog lice wine. Take hog lice, a half a pound, and put them into 2 pounds of white port wine, and after some days of infusion, strain and press out very hard. And then it keeps on going where he's talking about hog lice wine. Now, hog lice actually don't have anything to do with hogs. They mean those little roly-poly bugs that you find underneath the logs. So you take a half a pound of these little bugs and you mix them with port wine and you kind of let it infuse for a few days. Sounds great, doesn't it? And here's the last question. I love the dishes in your videos. Are they available somewhere I can purchase? Thanks. Almost all the items you see in our cooking videos, whether it's clothing that we're wearing or the dishes or the cooking equipment, all these things are available in our print catalog and on our website. And I will make a list, a special list, including these new plates, but of the top 10 kind of dishes and plates that we sell on our website so that you can take a look at them. So I'll put it down in the description section. You can check that out. I know we get so many comments about people being so thankful for the content that we put out, and they want to support us. And you can support us by going to our website and purchasing products like the plates. You can also support us on Patreon, and I want to thank everyone who has supported us on Patreon so far. That is a great encouragement, and if you want to help support us that way, that will be great. I'll put a link down to the Patreon. Monday, again, is a holiday for us here at James Townsend and Son, and so we won't be here to put out the video on Monday, but we will have a cooking video available for you on Tuesday, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Again, I want to thank everyone for your well wishes for the holidays that we got so many in, and the comments on that the 3 reasons why you watch video. That video has, I don't know how many comments on it now. I'm still reading every comment that comes in, and everyone is amazing. So I want to thank you for your amazing support. I hope you have a wonderful new year coming up, and thank you so much for watching.